Okay folks, here's a quick review of the Quinjet vehicle that was released by Hasbro as a part of the Marvel Avengers line of products. I picked this up at Walmart for $29.99. There was also an Iron Man figure included, which I'll cover later in the review. Alright, there's some assembly required for the vehicle. Some of the assembly was easy for me to do and some wasn't. The hardest part of the assembly for me was getting the wings inserted properly into some narrow insertion slots on the body of the vehicle. If you're buying this for a child, be prepared to possibly give them a hand putting it together. There was also a decal sheet and instruction manual included, and to be honest, I thought the instructions were poorly written, especially regarding where to properly apply the decals. So if you're going to apply the decals, here's a word of advice. Refer to the artwork on the back of the box as an aid. After I was able to get everything assembled and get the decals properly applied, I was fairly impressed with the Quinjet's overall appearance. It seems to be a good representation of the vehicle shown in the Avengers movie. The coloration is nicely done, with gray shading, gold accents, and off-yellow cockpit window. The interior of the cockpit looks okay and seats 3 3/4 inch figures well. The jet engines are nicely detailed, and the body has lots of detailing with rivets and seams prominently displayed all over the jet's body and wings. Also, there are 3 pegs located on the Quinjet body and wings, allowing you to stand the Avengers figures on the exterior of the vehicle if you so desire. So what I'll do here is pause and give you a closer look at it. Okay, let me show you the cockpit real quick. Okay, and now the rest of the vehicle. The more that I examined the Quinjet, I did start noticing some flaws with it. For one thing, on my jet, the articulation joint here on this left wing, it has a tendency to droop slightly, whereas the right wing articulation joint doesn't seem to have that issue. I also noticed that the cockpit canopy doesn't always stay closed when working the action feature, which I'll demonstrate in just a little bit. Alright, there is a rear hatch on the back of the Quinjet that manually opens and closes. Alright, let me wheel the jet around real quick and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, and it's right here. And I'll zoom in real quick and give you a look at this. Right there it is. Okay, close this back up. And I'll wheel the jet back around. Okay. Got a nice good shot here of the jet in the frame. Well, as you saw, the interior on the hatch looks okay, but the door itself, it's attached via 2 hinges that both look and feel a bit on the fragile side. Now, as you can see here, there is a small flight clip that extends from the left side of the Quinjet body, right here. See it right there? Okay. And you can use that to simulate Iron Man or Thor flying alongside the Quinjet. I wish the plastic clip had looked as transparent as it appeared on the box art when I saw this in store, as I think that looks better than the gray coloring that you see here. Alright, there is landing gear on the Quinjet, and it is manually extended and retracted. I don't mind at all that it functions manually. In fact, I prefer it that way. Okay, as I mentioned just a little bit ago, there is an action feature on the vehicle. When you push the tail section back, like that, you'll see that the cockpit droops and a missile launcher springs out from the body of the Quinjet. And there are also 2 additional engines that are also exposed, hidden in the wings. The launcher is on a hinge, and as you can see here, it rotates 360 degrees. Just like this. Okay. And it also moves up and down. Now, as you can see right here, there are two missiles, and they both fire via some buttons here on the side of the launcher like this. See? Now, I did discover that when you're inserting the missiles into the launcher, you should listen for 2 clicks as your indicator for proper insertion of the missiles. The hidden wing engines have no functionality, but they look good nonetheless. All right, let me set the Quinjet aside, and we'll get a look at the included Iron Man figure that came with the Quinjet. Okay, here he is. Now, the figure doesn't really look all that great, but I tend to expect that with these pack-in figures that are included with these vehicles. Now, unfortunately, the left shoulder joint on this figure, at least on mine, it's fairly loose, but it still holds its pose fairly well. All right, there were no figure stands or other accessories included with this figure or the vehicle. So what I'll do now is a quick 360 of the Iron Man figure, and then I'll give you a 360 of the Quinjet. And it should also be noted that the articulation on this Iron Man figure, it's really limited. I only found about 5 points of articulation total. Okay, give you another look at the Iron Man figure, and then I'll bring in the Quinjet. All right, so here's the Quinjet from the front. Here it is from the left. Here it is from the rear. From the right-hand side. And finally, here we are once again from the front. And I'm going to go on ahead and I'll button this up real quick. Okay. I'll bring in the Iron Man figure for you again too. All right, so overall, gosh, how do I put this? This isn't a bad vehicle. I am disappointed that the left wing joint on my jet turned out to be droopy, and that the cockpit canopy doesn't stay in place consistently when working the action feature, and that the instruction manual for the Quinjet was very hard to decipher, and I'll be honest with you, it was really enigmatic and hard for me to understand. However, in spite of the concerns that I have about this vehicle, I'm going to go on ahead and give the Quinjet a good recommendation. However, I'm not going to recommend that you rush right out to get it. It is fairly easily available, and it's not hard to find in stores. I see it in Target, and I see it in Walmart, and I see it at Toys R Us quite a bit. Okay, so on that note, take care and stay tuned for my next review. Have a good one.